All right, time to bring on Mina Kimes. We're very excited about this. Our favorite part of the week. Well, not mine because I'm not here usually when we do this with Mina. But Mina, I will tell you, I was very disappointed. You gave a hot bowl take. The camera was right up in your face, okay? They were trying to get you to do what they get me to do around here. And your bold take, and you and I have worked on this. We've been in the lab together. We've worked on hot takes. Your hot take was the Chiefs are going to make it to the AFC Championship game, a place they have been to for the last 5 seasons.
Okay, I want to say, when was this, 2 weeks ago?
I think
so,
yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Mike, you were there. Several other people who were here were there. I think that take was a bit hotter a couple of weeks ago. Now it feels like a foregone conclusion. At the time, Mike, everyone in the audience, did it not seem to have a little bit of caliente?
Yeah, they were right on the heels of that Las Vegas performance. And I think that's the first time because it's weird. It was at the end of the season. I'm like, they're going to turn it around and find their way this season. I paid no mind that we were saying that in like week 16.
Right.
But I was genuinely convinced, this is not a good Kansas City Chiefs team. And they're going to have to play the opening weekend of the NFL playoffs, and they're potentially going to have to do it on the road.
Right.
But now that they got through Miami, and it also timed out with Miami, falling off. But the line is very respectful of these Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, it should be, right?
What if they figure it out in the playoffs? Have they? It's hard to judge off of that performance given all the conditions out there.
Yeah.
But are they figuring it out?
I think they figured out some things, which is why at that time I was still high on them, and maybe it wasn't the hottest take, but it definitely wasn't the most popular take. I got a little bit of blowback for that. I did not retweet the video. I shall be retweeting it if it proves to be correct, which is very Stugotzian of me.
Yep.
So this Chiefs defense has been good the entire season, and I think that's sort of why I've held out hope even during some of the real offensive doldrums. I think they're a young defense. They're super aggressive. They're super well coached. Steve Spagnuolo is doing an amazing job. You saw that against Miami. A lot of the second-year players are playing really well. George Karlaftis up front. I really like the defense. The question, of course, is offensively. That's what Mike's talking about when he asks if they have figured it out. And I think it was, actually around the time they were playing Buffalo and they lost the Kadarius Toney game that I felt they had finally settled on the correct formula, which is throw the ball to Rashee Rice, like a lot, like most of the time, like pretty much no one else, maybe Travis Kelce here and there. And you saw that come to fruition in the playoff game.
I think why the Vegas game also scared me was Rice had started coming into his own, and they were still feeding Rice. And
they lost.
And they got blown out.
Yes.
Despite the defense playing very well and not allowing a completion outside of that first quarter. So I think what scared me the most was that the results weren't there while Rice was coming online. And also, what am I to do with a very clear dip in form from Travis Kelce? He's of an age where this is expected.
You're obsessed with this.
But he's not the same guy.
He's not focused.
And if he does it in the playoffs, like to me, that's like I can be as good as I ever was once.
By the way, I'm not saying that. That's what people are saying, though. He's not focused enough.
No, it's not. To me, it's not the focus.
Are you
to
playing
me, it
with
said he's not as good.
The Taylor Swift fire, Stu?
What?
What happened?
Has Stu been poking the bear on the Taylor Swift tapes?
I was just trying to warn Travis Kelce, my friend, what was going to happen if he stopped, if he dropped balls consistently, if the Chiefs didn't go as far as everyone wants them to go or thinks they're going to go. The fans are going to say that Travis Kelce not focused. He's focused on Taylor Swift. He's focused on their relationship.
Stu's not saying it, though.
I'm not saying it, okay? He's focused on the podcast.
It.
He's focused on shooting commercials.
Oh,
He's focused on everything but football. These are what Kansas City Chiefs fans are going to say. I found out they're already saying it. They've been saying it all season, Mina. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you're hiding behind the fans are saying. I do like
I'm
that
not hiding behind anything. I'm warning a friend, Mina.
I do like that your take about focus extends to podcasting and all of the other pursuits that Travis Kelce has. Mike, he is not playing at the level he was last year. I do think, however, his position and the nature of what he does with Mahomes, getting open on the scramble drills, that connection. I think in the postseason, I think back to actually the Rams Patriots Super Bowl where like Gronk had that like one final incredible drive where him and Tom Brady just did the, mental connection thing, and it was all they needed. And I kind of feel the same way about Kelce and Mahomes. To answer your question about Rice, though, you're right. He did start coming online a bit at the end of the season, becoming more of a target. But the way that they've used him has evolved. I thought in this last game, what was really notable, he absolutely killed Miami with crossers, right? I think Mahomes went like 5 or 6 targeting him on like deep overs. That's something they didn't really do earlier in the season. And I think as his trust in him has grown, his route tree has grown, the offense has gotten better as a result of that.
All right, I've waited 6 minutes to finally ask you a Baker Mayfield question. I am so excited for this game on Sunday because I'm happy genuinely for Lions fans and for Baker supporters that have stood by our guy.
Great stories
all these years.
Yeah.
I know that he struggled, and you could maybe blame an injury toward like those last 2 weeks of the season. I was kind of getting worried. I'm like, oh no, is this magical run over? And then he had a brilliant performance against an Eagles defense that is an absolute mess. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that Baker maybe made 2 bad throws in that entire game.
Played well.
Could have easily had 400 yards passing if his receivers showed up the way that he did. That was a dominant performance from Baker Mayfield. I know he's a peaks and valleys guy, but is he finally settling in and fulfilling some of that promise?
Are you asking me if he has
the
I believe they call it the goods?
The
goods,
If he has the goods?
Yes.
I think he's good. I don't think he's at the level of several of the quarterbacks in the playoffs, certainly in the AFC. But I think right now he is playing well enough so that it provided complementary football is being played by Tampa. They can certainly win. They can beat inferior opponents. They can beat a defense like the Eagles, which, by the way, I thought that experience was really telling because on the other side of the ball, like how much more confident did you feel watching Baker Mayfield in that offense versus Philadelphia? Watching when the ball would leave his hands and you're watching the TV copy, you can't see who's on the other end. You would watch it thinking he's probably going to throw an accurate pass. Mike Evans dropped it, whereas never felt that confidence with Philly. I do think it's a continuation of what we saw a lot this season. It was, Baker was not perfect. It was inconsistent at times, but he improved in ways that, Mike, to me, feel sustainable and also are things he didn't do earlier in his career, specifically the sack avoidance. That was all, you remember that was always an issue with Baker Mayfield, taking sacks, not getting the ball out quick enough. This year, he was the 8th fastest quarterback in terms of time to throw. He was excellent on quick passes, 2.5 seconds or less. That's different from who he was at various points in Cleveland and certainly Carolina. So to see that, I think, is really encouraging for his career. And I think that regardless of what happens this week, he'll probably stick around in Tampa.
The Eagles are interesting, Mina. What do you do there? Like, what do you do with Sirianni?
I lean towards moving on, not just because of Sirianni and the meltdown in all phases and the way things fell apart, but also the alternatives who are out there, right? Like, you're not just moving on from Sirianni. You'd hypothetically be moving on from him to one of these like incredible coaching candidates, Belichick, Vrabel, Mike McDonald, Ben Johnson. There's so many good options at the moment. I don't think it's like a complete gimme because, obviously Sirianni's success thus far, but to fail that the way they did, it's really like hard not to lay that at the feet of the head coach, especially because that head coach defensively made one of the all-time backfires, elevating Matt Patricia weirdly in season. It didn't make sense. It felt like scapegoating, proved to be the case. And then offensively, remember, Sirianni used to call plays. At any point this season, he could have stepped in, taken it back, or I'm sure had some sort of influence on what we saw. But from the beginning until the very bitter end, the offensive coaching, the play calling was a massive issue in Philadelphia.
Why do you think Belichick in Dallas didn't work out? We were discussing this earlier. Like, did Belichick say he wanted to bring the entire staff? He wanted full control? Like, who made that decision?
To be fair, we're just making the assumption that Jared did the old kick of the tires.
Right. Yes. Well, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been no reporting about Jerry doing that. Actually, can I take another crack at a Stugotz take? Because my opinion about this is a little bit Stugotzian, and I know I failed with my Chiefs hot take. All right,
well,
Stu.
no, listen, I hope you're not offended. I'm just saying, if you're going to go Chiefs, the take to go with is Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, never winning another Super Bowl again together. How about that? That's a good take. You can use that if you
don't
want.
believe that.
It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, Mina.
It matters.
I love that, actually.
Tony wants it. Tony's going to claim it. I'm telling you right now.
I'm going to say something that I actually do kind of believe and that I think is something Stu would say. Bill Belichick, NFC East, scared? Bill Belichick, rumored to be linked with the Atlanta Falcons. That's heating up right now. You're hearing reporting about a second interview. NFC South, easy? Bill Belichick taking the easy road to break the wins record? Is Bill Belichick scared of competition? Is he tired of playing teams that are better than him in the AFC East after years of playing in an easy conference? Does he want to go to another easy division? Is Bill Belichick a front runner? People are asking questions. Many people are saying this.
And not unlike Stugotz, she's stealing other people's takes.
That's great.
It's incredible.
Here's another take for you. Jordan Love will win more Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre combined. How about that?
So he's got to win. He's got to win 3.
He's got to win 3.
I think that's unlikely because there's only 4 quarterbacks in the history of the sport off the top of my head, right, who have won that many. But I do think Jordan Love has a chance of winning at least one. I mean, he looks incredible to me. The way he's played the second half of the season, what we saw in the postseason, I am fully bought in on him. They're a young team. They're so well built. The roster is well, like the coaching is amazing. There are very few teams right now that I would want more to be a fan of than the Green Bay Packers. Houston Texans have a similar thing.
Because they're going to be good for a long time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
How do they do that?
Amazing. I don't know, dude. As a Jets fan, what is that like? Seeing Green Bay go from one elite quarterback to another elite quarterback to another. Like, how does that feel in your core watching Jordan Love, seeing that they clearly did it again, knowing that you're on the other side of that trade and you got their, sloppy seconds?
It feels terrible, and here's what I know, Mina. In the year 2037, the Jets will trade for Jordan Love. I hate that.
When he's bad.
CJ Stroud is damn good.
Yeah, that Mike just keep blurting that out.
He's just
speaking of spirals.
he's
speaking of season 1.
He's damn good. Now,
Speaking of the Lone Star State.
I do think that there was a bit of fool's gold when it came to Cleveland's defense when he looked at their home road splits. But and they did not play well at all. But CJ Stroud was beating them with ball placement and throwing guys open. The guy's incredible. He can make every throw, and he seems unfazed, an unflappable rookie at this point, going up against one of the top-rated defenses in the league. I mean, say what you will. You could not be surprised by the result, but the performance itself I did find surprising.
Yeah. I found it surprising because of the strength of the Browns defense and how easily they carved them up through a scheme. Not what CJ Stroud did. He's been credible all season long. I think what makes CJ so impressive is he both plays in an offense where you watch it and you think, oh, this is why their offensive coordinator, Bobby Sloak, is getting head coaching interviews. Schematically, they appear to be a step ahead, and he was a step ahead of Jim Schwartz, who's a very good defensive coordinator, so that's a credit to him. But then he also goes above and beyond. Like, there are the moments where, like, the tight end's wide open and they're manipulating with all the motions, and you watch the Browns defenders flowing in one direction and a guy's running wide open and leaking to the other side of the field. They do that. But then there are plays where pressure does get through, or where CJ has to do something on his own, create, and he does that too. And that's, of course, it's similar to actually, I really feel the same way about Jordan Love in Green Bay, where you have both the scheme that elevates everybody, but then the quarterback who elevates the offense beyond the scheme.
Are you going to be surprised if they beat Baltimore?
Yeah.
Really?
I do think, yeah. I think I went back and watched the week 1 game, which is not that useful in some ways because both of these teams are very different from now. Stroud is, for obvious reasons, he was very new at the time. He is now he's much more seasoned. And Baltimore was actually missing a lot of players who are playing now. But I think this Ravens offense, a couple things. They're so balanced. I think offensively, they have so many different answers for the things defense throw at them. Like, we talked about this on my podcast, Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny. If you guys like football, check it out wherever you get your pods.
Well done.
the difference between this team and the 2019 team. The 2019 team, remember, Lamar was amazing, but in the playoffs, the Titans basically took away the middle of the field and they said, throw outside, and the Ravens couldn't do it. They can do that now. Lamar's been the best quarterback in football on intermediate passes outside the numbers. If you play the pass, they will run the ball. And then defensively, they're really different from Baltimore in a way that I think presents much more challenges to Stroud and this offense. They're much more they're trickier what they do with their pressures and coverages. I think they have really talented coverage players, more so, frankly, than Cleveland. So I do think that this is going to come to an end here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it looks more competitive than it did in week 1.
Will you be surprised if the Packers go to San Francisco and beat the Niners?
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
that's less about Jordan Love and Dan. Not Dan. Wow, Dan.
What happened?
I just can't believe I called you Dan.
I can't either. I mean,
it's like when you call your teacher mom.
It's
Like
offensive to
I'm
me,
so
yes.
I'm so distraught by this.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know who's like that, who that's an insult to of all three of us. People can work that out. Yeah, yeah. Oh, geez.
You're really
the
shook by
Packers
this.
Shake it off, Mina. It's okay.
We can keep it moving.
The Packers defense is bad. They're really bad. And I just don't think they'll be able to stop the San Francisco offense.
I'm trying to think of a Dan question. It was a good suggestion by Jess.
But yes,
I don't
Stu,
ask
come
his
up with-
questions.
Stu, you've been asking me all these like straightforward football
Should
questions.
we be playing
Come up
football
with-
anymore? I mean, is it too dangerous?
No, come on, keep going. You do better than that. What is the most Dan question?
That was a
you
good
could
one.
ask
That's a
right
pretty good one right there. Do you do what I do every Sunday where I enjoy watching football, but I also say to myself, we shouldn't be playing football?
I think you'd have to, I'm not going to answer that. I think you'd have to isolate like a single injury that most people missed and ask me, did that make you question the whole affair? Did you question your role in the grand circus that
You called me Dan. She's
He's
so
been dressing more
embarrassed.
like you lately. He's been
Mina,
wearing like more dad-like clothes.
Mina.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you got a Silas. Mina,
It's not
He
his salary.
did get a kid.
I'm
gonna.
gonna hold you to these predictions because you had a Stugotz moment last week where you picked both the Lions and the Rams.
I did. Yeah.
So kudos to you. Salute.
So proud of you.
But I'm
So
going to
proud
make you
of you.
make predictions on these
That
games.
didn't work out for me, by the way. I picked the Lions
It's impossible
on
not
my
to work
podcast,
out.
and nobody noticed. I
Right.
picked the Rams, unfortunately, as part of a unanimous panel on TV. That
Yeah.
teams love it when you do that, and you're wrong. That's fine. It's their
Right.
prerequisite. But my point is, my Stugotzian approach backfired in a big way. I should have done the reverse.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm
Also,
gonna
the move is to always be the one person who picks the other team because no one cares if you're wrong.
right.
But if you're right, fans treat you like Nostradamus.
Mhm.
Like they're like, oh, Mina Kimes knows ball. She's the one person who believed in us on this stupid panel. Who says former players have to be analysts? This chick knows what she's talking about. All you have to do is be the one person off.
All right. So straight up winners for the divisional round of the NFL.
Yeah, I'm going Niners, Ravens, Lions, Chiefs. So Chiefs are my only underdog, I think.
Wow. Well, she has to stay with the Chiefs now.
I gotta stay with it. Yes,
Right.
yes.
AFC Championship game. The
I'm
take
gonna-
was
how long
fine.
am I going to wait to retweet that? Probably
Yeah.
like 10 seconds. I'll probably, no, even if the Chiefs are like leading with, I don't know if I might want to play it safe. But I'm going to smash that. I'm going to quote tweet it with the eyes emoji, like the eyes in between two little trees.
I love Josh Allen, though. I want him to win so badly. I do.
I
love
do want the people of Buffalo to have that,
Yeah.
but
I
gotta,
would love that too. I'm not rooting against them. I enjoy them, and I enjoy that quarterback a lot.
But I am really it's the most look forward to game of the slate for a reason, not just because it's the best matchup, but it's got the best drama to it. And if Josh Allen is to do this, he has to go through the boogeyman, and I love that about this sport.
When he's done with that, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Check out Mina's show, the Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny. Mina, we love you. We will talk to you next week. Enjoy the football. I can't believe you called me Dan.